What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am. And if you guys are, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam whatsoever. You will be visited by the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future in the middle of August. You're going to be super confused, and trust me, afterwards you're going to have a headache. So you might want to press the like button so that doesn't happen. Regardless, guys, today I have a subscriber story that was sent in about a Karen getting absolutely big mad about something that you really can't do much about, which is breathing. The person who sent me this had a Karen confronting them, being like, "Why are you breathing?" And Karen, I hate to break it to you, okay, but there really is not much that somebody can do about their breathing. I know it's annoying, but they have to stay alive. And regardless, it is going to be a pretty fun, entertaining video. So, yeah, without further ado, let's get into it.
I don't want you moving on now.
Can't lie, say it wasn't good before, yeah. Swear, baby, you the one that I adore, yeah. Make you happy, swear there's nothing I want more, yeah.
Anyways, the person who sent me in this story was apparently with their dad getting an oil change in the car, which, you know, I feel bad that you were dragged to that, alright? It's almost as bad as your mom dragging you to the grocery store, so a moment of silence for our fallen soldier. And anyways, they had just like a stuffed nose, so they had to breathe out of their mouth. And this is before the Rona, so no mask situation. So they were just breathing out of their mouth because their nose was clogged. And listen, anybody who's ever had a clogged nose knows, that was a weird sentence. Anybody who's ever had a clogged nose is aware of the fact that, like, when you are no longer able to breathe out of your nose, you miss it so much, dude. Like, whenever you unclog your nose and can breathe out of your nose for the first time after being sick, it feels amazing. So whenever I see somebody like with a clogged nose breathing in public, my first thought isn't that they're purposely trying to, you know, annoy me with their super weird breathing mouth just to piss me off. I usually just assume that they're sick and got a clogged nose. But anyways, this person has a clogged nose, so they're breathing out of their mouth. And for whatever reason, in this like mechanic shop where they're getting the oil change, there's this lady just mad dogging him for breathing. Like every time he goes, you know, and there is a noise, but it's not like it's, you know, the loudest thing ever. She is just staring at him and like rolling her eyes and being extremely just like dismissive of this dude. And once again, I understand that like repetitive noises can be annoying, but it's not like he's sitting here like, you know, he's not like moaning. He's just breathing a little bit heavier than normal because he can't breathe out of his nose. It's not this dude's fault. And she just starts like audibly every time he's breathing. So he looks at her and he's like, "What?" You know, he says what? And she's like, "I just think it's a little bit inconsiderate the way that you're breathing right now. You know, it's a little distracting." And he's like, "I'm sorry, I have a clogged nose. I have to breathe out of my mouth." And she's like, "Well, you know, like I've read studies that mouth breathing is actually really bad for you. So maybe in the future you should just not have a clogged nose." Wow, thanks, Karen. Oh my God. Wow. Beautiful advice coming in from the Karen here. Thank you so much. You know, everybody out there who's poor, just take this Karen's advice. Maybe just don't be. If you're homeless, just buy a house. It's really that simple. You guys are just overthinking all your problems. So whatever, she's like accusing him of breathing too badly. So he once again is like, "Well, I'm sorry, you know, I'm sick. I can't help it." And at this point, he's sitting with his dad, and his dad is kind of like, what is going on? And so the lady's like, "Your son here apparently is too dumb to figure out how to breathe through his nose like a normal person." And he goes, "Well, my son's sick. Like, he can't breathe through his nose. It's clogged." And the Karen is like, "Well, that's no excuse." What? If that's not an excuse, literally what else could ever be an excuse other than my nose is literally plugged? Air can't get into my nose. Well, that's not an excuse not to get air into your nose. Well, it kind of is, dude. It's like, "Can you come see me? I don't have a car." Well, if you really wanted to see me, you could walk. Dude, it's a 70-mile walk. Yeah, well, you could. You just don't want to. So obviously, this kid and his dad are like perplexed because somebody just telling you to do something you can't do. Like, what are you supposed to say that? You know, walk up to a kid in a wheelchair. Just get up and walk. You could do it. You could. You're just too dumb to figure it out. It's like, bro, that's not how it works sometimes. So they're just kind of looking at her weird. And then she goes, "Oh, are you guys both too stupid to use your words? Hello." And starts like snapping her fingers at them. And there is something so aggravating about somebody snapping their fingers at you. I don't know what it is, but like, if you snap your fingers at me, I am not liable if I, just bite off your finger like a carrot. Is that true, by the way? I've always read that, like, humans could bite off a finger like a carrot. They just choose not to. But I like to think that fingers are tougher than a carrot, because carrots are not very tough. Anyway, she's like, hello. And so the dad gets up at this point. He's like, ma'am, what is your problem? She's like, my problem is people like you who are inconsiderate of others. And it's like, how are you going to call anyone inconsiderate of others if this kid is sick and you're just telling him to breathe through his nose? Like, is that not the most inconsiderate thing you could possibly do? Hey, I know you're sick, but take this, kid. I'm going to kick you in the shin. How dare you interrupt my nice waiting for my oil change? That's the thing, too. Like, you're waiting for an oil change, lady. They have music playing. It's not like his breathing could have been that bad. And if it was that bad to that point, then, like, I think the staff or other people that were sitting there are annoyed. Like, you're the only person in this room full of people waiting that has a problem with this child breathing, man. Like, let's keep it a buck. You just don't like kids. Because what you're basically saying is make your child stop breathing. And I don't think any parent's gonna willingly do that, Call me crazy here, but I feel like some people might love their kids and not want to tell them to stop breathing because it's making some lady annoyed. Hey, Timmy, listen, we've had a good run, bud. I've loved being your dad, but this lady is real pissed off about the way you're breathing, so we're going to have to kibosh that. So the kid and the dad are like, what is your problem? And she says, well, let's just see what the manager thinks. And manager goes up to the desk. I need to speak to the manager immediately. So this guy comes in from working on cars. He's wiping his hands off with an oil rag. And she's like, excuse me, yes, those patrons over there are being very distracting to the well-being of your other clients. And I would very much appreciate it if they were immediately removed from the premise. And all right, ho, when you bring out the thesaurus, then I feel like your point is just kind of dumb. The more big words you have to use to make your argument, the less your argument makes sense. Oh, yes, the premises of the overwhelming constituency of your customer database. Bro, just say, yo, those guys are really annoying me and I'm paying too, so I think they need to leave. The overwhelming constituency of the premises of the overwhelming Autobot transformial rollout. Jesus, Karen, calm down. So she starts going off and the manager is kind of like, lady, I work on cars, okay? I don't even... What are you talking about? Please slow it down. And she starts getting impatient with him, not in terms of the guy being stupid for working on cars, but 10 seconds ago, I was changing the brakes on a Ford, and now you're telling me that somebody's breathing means they have to get kicked off the premise. Please slow down and explain it again, because I just came in here and don't know what's going on. Which is reasonable. And she starts rolling her eyes and accusing the manager of being dumb. No wonder you're a mechanic. Lady, you are asking this guy to kick someone out for you and you're going to start calling him stupid? What? And also, what is wrong with being a mechanic, bro? I feel like if you know how to work on a car, you're a pretty smart person, bro. I don't know how to do that. If you were ever yo, Ryan, what's wrong with my car? It's not starting. I'd be like, man, probably the starting thing is not starting it. That's what's wrong with it. I don't know. So, you know what? I ain't gonna flame no mechanic because they know more about cars than I ever will, The same way I know more about YouTube than most people ever will. Just because somebody isn't smart the same way you're smart because you, went to college and know how to write an essay doesn't mean that they're an idiot, all right? Sorry, that was a little bit of an unhinged rant, but you get what I'm saying. So she starts, being all condescending to the mechanic, are you too dumb to understand-o? So the manager obviously is not on her side now, and he's like, all right, what's going on? So he asked the kid's dad what's up, and he's like, my son is sick, his nose is clogged, so he has to breathe out of his mouth. He's not being extremely loud, but yes, it is making noise. I'm not going to deny that you can't hear but it's he's not going out of his way to breathe like a chainsaw. He's not snoring. It's not like there's a hibernating bear underneath the cars. There's no reason to be this pressed. And she's telling him to stop breathing. And so the mechanic guy's like, ma'am, I can't tell this kid to stop breathing. And she's like, well, can you tell them to go wait in the car? He's like, no, I'm not going to go tell them to go wait in the car because you don't like him breathing. If you don't like the fact that they're breathing, why don't you go wait in the car? And she's like, because you know how much I've done for this company, the fact that you would even have the nerve to say, why do I think that I need to stay in here? You know how many times I've changed my oil here? The typical Karen thing. I'll take my business elsewhere. The threats like that. And the thing about this oil change place is it wasn't a Pep Boys or a super corporate place. So the manager was like, okay, take your business elsewhere then. And the Karen is just standing there gobsmacked, excuse me? And he's like, all right, take your business elsewhere. Like, if you really don't like it, I'll have my guys take your car off the lift right now and you can take it to another shop. And he opens the door and is like, take it off the lift. Starts taking her car down, and she's immediately like, no. Like, come on. Like, I've already been here for an hour. He's like, no, we won't charge you. We'll put everything back the way we had it before. Since, you don't want to give us your services anymore, that's totally your discretion. But I'm not going to ask people to stop breathing in my lobby for you. So, yeah, that's the vibes. Karen got riggedy wrecked for screaming at a kid for breathing. And, like, listen, I understand sometimes breathing might be annoying, but going to the manager and being like, yo, tell this kid to straight up stop breathing is a little bit too far. And I also want to give kudos to the manager, dog, for standing up to the Karen. You don't want people to be able to bully you like that. If any Karen walks in and tries to tell my kid to stop breathing, I'll be like, hey, Karen, the only person who's allowed to tell my kid to stop breathing is me. So how about you mind your own business? I'm not playing games out here. I'm ready for that. Obviously, all jokes aside, guys, I just want to take a second to say thank you for all the support. Thank you to the person who sent in the story. You know who you are. You're an absolute G. On that note, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to press the like button. Let me know in the comments section down below what you thought. And if you're going to subscribe, you might as well turn on notifications because YouTube doesn't notify anyone of anything unless you have those on nowadays. So, yeah, be sure to turn those on. And on that note, have an absolutely incredible day. Be sure to use code Scrubby at the G Fuel checkout for a discount and get yourself some of the OG Sub Club merch because, we grown out here and you want to remind everyone that you are, in fact, an OG. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time with another video. The intro song is down in the description. Feel free to listen to it if you want. If not, whatever. And, yeah, on that note, I'm out. Peace.